Hello, Christina Marlette here, creator of Courageous Self-Care. And what I want to share with you today is maybe a different perspective on injuries. I've talked about this before, and I have another great example for you. So, is it an injury or is it a system upgrade? Maybe it's both. I was hiking on the West Coast Trail. If you've been following along, I've been talking about it a lot in my blog. So I talked about how every step needed 100% presence and focus because ladders, giant tree roots taller than me, um, muddy bogs, boardwalks that look like they were out of the set of Pirates of the Caribbean, just totally gone with rusty nails poking out of them. It was quite the trail, quite the adventure. And and then we were on slippery rocks, and part of it was on an ocean shelf where there was seaweed everywhere, giant boulders. So we needed to be 100% focused and present. On the last day, one step, lost my focus, slipped. I was carrying a big heavy backpack with, I don't know, 20, 25 pounds or something in it. By that time, we'd eaten most of our food, so that was good. The weight had gone down a little bit. And I slipped and kind of fell. And when I got up, I realized that I had strained kind of all the muscles in my left hip and left quadricep. And so walking was okay, but anything that required a big step, which was like the rest of the, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours that we still had to hike, it was mostly big steps. So going up ladders, going down ladders, stepping up the tree roots, all quite painful. And I was so glad in the way that I showed up. An older version of me would have thought that I did something wrong and overanalyzed it and gotten mad at myself and mad at the situation. And the newer version of me just said, oh, okay. Clearly, I need to breathe through this area, get some more like light flowing through, more healing energy. And so I'm just going to do my central channel breathing and take it to the body, practices I've learned from my mentor, Dr. Sue Morter, who wrote the energy codes. And so every step, I just breathed up from the earth and into the heart and out overhead, and then back to the heart and down the leg, and rooted it down, getting the great energy from the deep roots of the giant cedar trees and from overhead. And so instead of dwelling on it, I just used my mind to focus on moving the breath through the body. And we had to slow down. So my husband also said, this is such a gift. Like we weren't going fast by any stretch, but we said to our kids, you go ahead, we'll meet you at the end. We had a couple hours left at that point. And he just got to be in his glory, helping me up and down the big steps. And I had to lean on him physically and metaphorically. And it was a connecting experience. And so, in many ways, in every way, it was an upgrade. And what I found ever since I started practicing the energy codes and doing Dr. Sue's practices, I've noticed that anytime something gets injured, it's actually just a whole um, because more light comes into the body when you're breathing and putting the mind focusing on it, breathing up and down the area that is injured, then it is that more light is taking up residence in the body, more of the high vibrations that you're wanting to experience. It's just an opportunity to be really focused on that. And so that's what I did. And number one, it made it totally bearable. Like just, okay, this hurts and I'm going to breathe through it. And number two, it made us slow down and get even more connected with each other, me and my husband, and more connected with our surroundings. It really brought a laser focus to our last day and to reap all the benefits that the old growth rainforest was intending to give us. And I know maybe all of this sounds like, whoa, you're so out there, but this is how my life has changed and gotten better. And so it works. And so I'm going to keep doing it. And then number three, a few days later, I noticed after a Shavasana that big energy just started flowing through my body, upgrading everything, shifting my vibration. And so this has happened over and over now. Whenever I've gotten some sort of injury, which usually is weird and out of the blue, I know now that something big is coming. And if I can focus on moving the breath through the body and creating space and bringing in more light, something big is going to happen. And so that happened again. And the other thing that I wanted to share with you, oh yeah, so I was sore from the hiking and the trip. Every day I was getting progressively more sore. And I thought that it would take a few days for this injury to heal. But by the next day, although I was still stiff from the hike, it was gone. And so I was shocked. So I spent hours breathing through it, and that's what it needed to help move through. So any injury, anything in the body, it's only ever stuck energy and an opportunity to bring more light into it. And so that's what I was focusing on as I was walking and breathing, just really focusing on moving the breath through to bring in more of that divine healing light. So that was that. And then the other little tidbit, the little nugget that I shared with my husband at one point that he said he'd never heard before. So maybe you haven't either, or maybe it would be a great reminder. His knee was hurting kind of at the same time, and he tweaked it, and then it was hurting every step that he took. And I said, something I've done in the past that worked on the first day too of the West Coast Trail is I say to my knee and to my brain, okay, I know that you're injured. You don't need to keep sending me the signal anymore. Got it. I'm going to take it easy and be really careful and mindful, breathe through it, but you don't need to keep on sending me that signal. And he did it, and he was wowed. My husband said, "I've never heard that before." And within a little while, it was gone. The pain was gone because it wasn't quite so much energy that needed to be moved through, and it didn't come back. So perhaps that's something that would be helpful for you too. I did it on the first day. My shoulders were so sore from the backpack that at that point maybe was 35 pounds or something. First day of carrying it for an extended period of time. And at one point, my shoulders said, "We're done. We're so tired. We want to stop." And I said, "Okay, shoulders, we have a ways to go. So you don't need to keep sending me that signal anymore. I know you're tired, and there's nothing we can do about it. So let's keep going." And I was amazed at how well it worked. Just a few minutes later, I was like, oh, nothing happening in my shoulders anymore. They've adjusted. So our minds are so powerful, and especially when we can use them to move breath through the body. So hopefully that is at least interesting for you. Maybe totally out there, but it works. So I would love to. I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'm love talking about this stuff. Happy to answer. All right, take care. Bye for now.